So I'm gonna go on a little rant. I don't know if this actually makes sense or not, so drop a comment or whatever if you disagree. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that disagree because I keep getting these freaking YouTube videos popping up in my suggested. I probably shouldn't even be spending so much time on YouTube in the first place. This is a sign from God. But I keep getting these videos and it's like, why you should buy a 340 over an M3. Obviously, I'm super biased. I'm literally driving an M3 right now that I just spent a ton of money on, so it's about as biased as it could possibly get. But it's also like, chances are, one, if you're watching this video, two, if you're buying an M340i, chances are you're just a young dude like me, and I could literally have perfect reasoning, which I don't think I have, but I could have perfect reasoning and I probably couldn't fucking change your mind anyway, so I'm just kind of ranting for the sake of ranting. But okay, you have two options, right? You can buy F80 M3 for $35K, or you can buy, this is a G20 340i, M340i for $40K. Now that one's newer, has less miles, but the problem with it being newer as well is just gonna deprecate instantly. Within like 3 years, you're gonna lose like $15,000 of value. There's 2016 340i's selling for like $16K. Now, to be fair, there are 2011, which is like similar years of difference between, say, like a 2015 M3 and a 2020 G20. If that makes sense. They're like $20K. So I guess it's similar, but it's also like that's the 2011 versus the 2016, so it's kind of different. And basically my point is an M3 is going to hold value better. If you've ever been, so the thing is, I've never been even in a 400 horsepower car before this. Like the fastest new car that I've ever been in, like obviously I have the E36, but it's a whole different animal, and it's like got a DCT. This thing shifts in like 100 milliseconds. Brother, with my fucked up second gear synchro, it'll take me like 3 seconds to get into second gear. So it's a whole different animal with these new cars. But if you've never been in a 400 horsepower car, like nowadays, because of the internet, you like see 400 horsepower, you're like, yeah, damn, that shit like not even really that fast, but this shit is quick. Like I can dust, like I'm not trying to flex or anything, but like I could dust any regular car on the street like without any sort of problem. Like it doesn't even take any effort. Like it, at least in the E36, I'm like freaking sweating, bro. I gotta fucking shift at the right time, and I gotta dump the clutch just right, bro. I just literally chilling, bro. I could be singing some damn Taylor Swift and just dust your ass. Anyways, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, but if you've never been, like, bro, 400 horsepower is more than enough for the street, bro. Like, I don't really know how to get it across. Like, it's way more than enough. Like, it's already like pushing the line where it's like, this is too much for the street. So like if you have like 700 horsepower, it's like, bro, you really just don't, it's like so not necessary. Okay, and to get 700 horsepower, right, the only reason why I think a 340 might be worth it, or I think a G20 is not really worth it, to be honest. Now, an F30 is worth it because you're getting a B58 for like $16K, which is like a modern 2JZ. You're getting a 2016 car with all the technology. I think that's a fire deal because you can make 700 horsepower. But the thing is, even in that case, I think it makes sense to save up for an M3 because then you're getting the whole package. You don't have this car that's like built by yourself, which, I mean, I guess having built cars myself, it is a whole different cool factor to have a car that you know you built yourself and all this stuff. So it is a lot cooler, to be honest. But just financially wise, you could buy a $16,000 F30, right? And you can make it faster than M3, but then you still don't have a DCT, you still don't have stiffer bushings, you don't have adaptive suspension, you don't have an M3, you know what I mean? So it's like driving through traffic and it's fucking with my train of thought because I get anxious that people are looking at me. Oh yeah, so now you basically have a $16,000 car that you've put 20 grand into. and it's still a $16,000 car. This is what I've gone through with the E36, which is where it comes into my head. It's like the art versus like business thing, because like financially the E36 makes no sense at all, but it's also just badass, and it's like just doing it for the sake of art, which is important as well, because it's like if you're only doing shit for business all the time, it's like you're never gonna actually do anything cool, because it's just like lifeless kind of. So I feel like that's the only argument for like going with the 340i's, so you can build something cool yourself. Also, not hating on anyone with the G20 340i with all the fucking right carbon fiber bits and all that stuff. They look fucking super badass, but I'm really afraid that there's people staring at me right now. I feel super awkward, lots of traffic. About to go through a school zone, cruising real slow. But yeah, that's basically all my points. I don't even know if I really had any fucking point like to actually make there. I'm just ranting. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm genuinely curious, because I do think 340i is really badass. And I have ridden in them, and it's impressive how quick those transmissions shift for not being a DCT. I mean, it's like, I've read that it's like 200 milliseconds versus 100 milliseconds. I mean, to the human brain, you probably cannot fucking tell a difference. So it is crazy, the technology. The B58 is obviously a fucking fire platform, and they sound a lot better than the S55 from like factory, without needing like expensive ass equal length mid pipes and all this shit. And that is the other thing with the M3, is the crank hub thing. If it's like, either way, if you're making 700 horsepower on a B58, you're not doing it cheaply. You know what I mean? It's gonna cost you a lot of fucking money. To where at least with the M3, you fix the crank hub thing, yeah, it's gonna be expensive as fuck, but your car is at least still worth a lot of money in the first place. I don't know. I'm going to work. I'll catch you guys next time. Later.